All right, so Skallywag Tactical just recently released 4 training kits. All of these blades are popular personal protection or tactical blades. They all have a trainer that coincide with the actual blade itself. So if you were to purchase one of these kits, you're going to receive the live blade itself as well as the trainer. That training blade is vitally important so that you can pressure check your techniques and tactics so that you know that it works under pressure regardless of what that scenario is. It is a hamper or a issue in training if every single time you do a technique or try to pressure check it, you have to find a new training partner because the last one got stabbed in the face with a live blade. Let's go into the 4 kits that you can find on ScallywagTactical.com. What I did was I kind of broke this down so that we can focus on the daggers that are available, or at least the 2 kits that have daggers in them, and then we'll do the MDV stuff towards the end. So first off is the D2 Dagger Kit. You have your basic D2 dagger that comes with our normal Kydex sheath. This does come with the upgraded sheath that catches clothing. There's a little bit of a pick that's on the inside so that it is very difficult for the sheath itself to fully disengage based off of whatever article of clothing that you have. That hook will catch and it will allow you to draw that blade. This is a favorite of those in law enforcement as well as those in the military looking for something a little bit smaller than the Guardian, and it is also a favorite of those looking for a personal protection tool that has a singular focus and not a lot of multiple techniques applied to it, meaning these daggers are meant to stab. These are penetration tools. The entire thing is that the edge itself is at a 40-degree angle, and in turn, even though it will cut on a proper snap cut, it will not slash as readily or as easily as, say, an MDV fixed blade or any of our other blades that are designed for slashing. This is a very good blade for those of you that like to run on a regular basis, especially for those that run at odd hours and you wish to have something on you. I wouldn't advise for you to place this on your clothing because it is D2. It is heavy enough that it will wear down that clothing, but if you place your finger inside of that loop just like this, then what happens is you can run with this and in turn it will not hinder you on that exercise. And at any point, if you have to, you can use this to strike, hammer fist striking directly down, and then if you wish to escalate that because that is what is appropriate, grabbing the sheath from the other hand will allow you to unsheath the blade and motivate whatever it is that is attacking you to change their mind. Always remember, your knives for personal protection are tools that are designed to change someone's mind. They in turn are thinking about doing one thing, and then when you stab them in the face, they tend to think about other things. And so that just is what happens. Moving on, we have the Guardian kit. This is obviously a more tactical setup. The entire build behind this was to develop a large dagger that could be placed behind the magazines on a plate carrier for those of our students, the special operations community, that needed a tool to access if for whatever reason they were in a grappling scenario. One of the things that happens is the whole concept of having a blade that is placed behind the magazine carrier. A lot of times people choose to opt for small blades. And unfortunately, the individuals that we train, they a lot of times have gloves on. There is a plate that is directly there for their protection. And so that is usually ceramic or metal. And in turn, what happens is to find this knife on their chest when you have a piece of metal on ceramic or something as hard as metal sometimes isn't the easiest thing if this is a small blade or a small loop. And so what we did is we designed a larger loop here, and in turn you'll find that it is just a very aggressive style type dagger. This is a single finger grab. It is not meant for two fingers. The entire concept is that when my hand goes directly on it, I know I have a positive contact. My finger rotates in just like a normal karambit. It comes directly out. And the serrations themselves are very, very aggressive. This is the professional Guardian, but the serrations are designed so that when this is penetrated into the body of someone, so maybe the side of the neck, or if it is in a hammer grip and it is inserted maybe between the legs into the groin area, the serrations are designed to cause as much micro trauma within the body as possible while that blade is being routed around. Once again, this is a more tactical focused blade. It is larger so that it will penetrate into areas of the body that in turn will shut them down. This is not normally meant for personal protection or everyday carry. I know some of you behemoths do have the ability to carry that, but normal sized people will find that this is a very large blade in comparison to the dagger. One of the things that is important for all of your training tools is that it does fit directly into whatever the sheath is. And so if you were to place this behind that magazine pouch or even on a gun belt and secure it, your ability to pull that is going to be there and you'll be able to practice with that. That is supposed to be a direct replica of that. So you have both of these kits. You have the D2 Dagger as well as the Professional Guardian, and they are both available on SkallywagTactical.com. Let's move on to the MDV kits. Hi guys, so moving right along, we have our MDV fixed blade, so our MDV Plus One, and we have our MDV Folder, the D2 version, so the original folder. Both of them, once again, if you were to purchase a kit, comes with its coinciding trainer. This MDV is your basic black MDV fixed blade. It does come with a rhino sheath, just like all of the entry-level MDV fixed blades. Once again, I always advise that you customize the handle to your liking, but you have your traditional and basic features of this blade. It has a hook that will naturally latch directly on the outside of your pocket. This hook here is designed to be used to be locked onto somebody else. So you take the hook, you open this up a little bit, it'll hit somebody's arm or body, it will disengage, and then you can go to whatever techniques that you need. Or if it is in your pocket, while it's in your pocket, you prep the blade by using your thumb, which just basically just opens it up just a little bit, hook onto the top side of the pocket itself. As it draws, this will stay in the pocket and it will allow you to draw the blade out. Because of the way this works, you also have the ability, while it's in the pocket, to grab that hook, rotate it down, drag it to the backside, and that hook will catch on the backside and you can hold it into an ice pick grip. Always remember that your loops, as well as the hook itself, is designed to be held just like a traditional karambit, where it's between your first two knuckles here, and then everything else is kind of like lined up here. Okay, you have the ability to hold this in a hammer grip. It does allow you to use whatever actions or whatever techniques that you have for that. It does come with a trainer that goes right into the rhino sheath itself, and all actions are able to be done directly with both. You might have to use a little bit of oil to make sure that all of that works well, but that is your MDV fixed blade kit. Your MDV D2 folder, that kit itself is the premium folder that we have. Remember that this is the version that the entire thing is D2. The handle, the blade, everything that is involved. It has a swelled top right here. You'll notice that what happens is it's not straight, it rolls out towards the end. What this does is when it's in your left pocket or when it's behind your belt buckle, when you draw this out, you have more positive grip on this because there's something to grab onto, and then what happens is it'll hit that ramp kinetic opening system. So that triangle here will catch any type of material, or you have the ability to catch it on yourself or your material and it will open up. This is a frame lock, and so you will notice that in this position, this is directly over. It is on the opposite side than a frame lock is normally. The entire purpose behind that is for the one scenario that we focused on, where this is in our offhand and I need to be able to close it. We just found that if you are right-handed and you are closing this in your offhand, it's just a lot easier to push this across in this fashion, just like that, to close it, than it is in a traditional way. Some people like that, some people don't. This is not a left-handed blade. Everything is designed for the typical right-handed user. Now, you'll also notice that for this folder here, you have the ability to take the clip and throw it on both sides. You have a integrated carbide glass breaker that is directly on top, so that you don't need to carry another device to be able to do that. If you've ever tried to break through car glass, the windows, then in turn you will know that it is very, very difficult to do that without a specialized tool. The trainer that comes with it is a replica of that. It even comes with its glass breaker, and in turn it does everything else that the other one does, so that you can practice, especially in your grappling scenarios and what have you. And so that is our MDV D2 folder. That is not the light version, and as of right now, the 4 kits focus on the D2 version, not the light. That concludes the MDV fixed blade and MDV folder. All right, guys, so that concludes this video. Basically, you have 4 different kits. Just like anything else, if you are going to carry something for personal protection, self-defense, whatever you want to call it, you need to pressure check your training. Even if you are just working by yourself, it is always best to work whatever novel or new techniques, actions, that is best to be done with a trainer. And there are ways to use like the sheath of a fixed blade to kind of protect yourself, but that's not always the best way to do it. If you're serious about your training, you should always have a trainer. You should always pressure check everything, and you should be seeking out continuous training. Just like anything else on the site, if you want 10% off, use the code ELITEU. You will find all 4 of these kits at skallywagtactical.com. I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and I will see you in the next one.